to business before the weather hits and get everyone home safely. Before we begin today's proceedings, I would like to remind everyone that today's meeting is being recorded and live streamed to the public through Facebook. Board members, staff, guests, and members of the public are reminded that the full authority board committee meeting is being recorded and will be posted to the authority's website along with the official written minutes. As such, comments and opinions expressed may be published, and any comments expressed by individual board members, guests, and the general public are their own and do not represent the opinions or comments of the full authority and/or the KCCA Board of Directors. The recorded video of the full authority meeting is not considered the official record of that meeting. The official record of the full authority meeting shall consist solely of the minutes approved by the full authority. The board met for the first time this year on January 18, 2023. At that meeting, an election of officers was conducted with Grant Jones, a representative from the Township of Southwold, being elected as chair, and Lori Baldwin Sands, representing the city of St. Thomas, being elected as vice chair. So congratulations to both of them. And having said that, I return the meeting to our chair, Grant Jones.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I'll ask members of the board as there any declarations of plenary interest. Seeing none, I'll ask Elizabeth to give roll call, please.
Lori Baldwin Sands, representing the city of St. Thomas.
Present.
Frank Burrs, representing the Middlesex Center, censored reps. Jim Herbert from the city of St. Thomas.
Present.
Grant Jones from the Township of Southwold.
Present.
Sharon McMillan from Municipality of Town Center.
Present.
Todd Noble from the Municipality of Central Elgin.
He was on. Saw his name.
Todd, can I get you to verbally acknowledge? Okay, we see Todd virtually joining on the screen. Sam Trousseau from the city of London.
Present.
And John Wilson from the Township of Malahide.
Present. Thank you. Well, welcome back. Obviously, we're still live streaming after 3 years. It's something that's probably going to be for a long time to come. So we have many people joining virtually. It's great to see almost a full house in the boardroom. It's been a long time. Following the municipal election, we have 8 new members of 10, so only 2 returning, myself and Jim Herbert are returning, the rest. And we're still waiting for 2 appointments from the city of London. There's one convention process there. I'd like to thank the membership for the vote of confidence in appointing me chair for this present year, and I look forward to the challenges that look like they're going to be coming towards us over the past over the next year. I've had the privilege of representing Southwold Township on this board since 2019, and also before that 4 years of Overland's Conservation Authority. And in that time, I've learned a lot. At our core is the work that we do to protect life, property, and natural hazards. We have directed funds to update floodplain mapping and development of guides to ensure that the public is informed and development is directed in a way, in a manner that is directed away from these natural hazards. Public values our service, our hiking trail network, campgrounds, and days facilities boost mental health and contribute to the active lifestyle. Year over year, more people are using our trails and seeking refuge from modern life in our natural areas. Tree planting is one of the most cost-effective ways of mitigating the effects of climate change, most importantly, flooding and erosion. Our staff are truly boots on the ground, providing advice and expertise to landowners and finding funding dollars to plant 550,000 trees per year. With the right resources and willing landowners, we can affect change. think you'll see evidence of that throughout this meeting. Point is that as new members of this organization, you can count on the fact that you'll have the opportunity to work with the committee staff dedicated to the mission of integrated watershed management. And I believe a committee that not only values the work that this has provided by this organization, but is depending on us to contribute to the positive management of watershed resources. I'll ask Scott Trevors and Jim Frederick from Graham Scott Hens to present the audited financial statements for 2022. Welcome, gentlemen. The floor is yours. Oh, there you go.
I'm right here. My name is Scott Travers, we have Jim over here. We're representing the accounting firm Graham Scott Hens. We're the auditors of Kettle Creek Conservation Authority. We perform the audit of financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2022. Part of our responsibility with the audit is to communicate the audit findings and our auditors report to the board and management at the annual general meeting. The report and other pages presented are excerpts of the full set of financial statements. These financial statements will be made available and presented to the board on February 8th, 2023, and a full set of the audited financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2022 will be available on the website, the Creek Conservation Authority website. Okay, so these are just excerpts, that's a few pages from the full set of financial statements. As with any audit, the financial statements are the responsibility of management and the organization, and our role as auditors was to audit the financial statements, including the notes to the financial statements as presented by management. As auditors, we provide and are responsible for the auditor's report. So I'll provide an overview of our auditor's reports. The first section of the auditor's report outlines what is audited and the financial statements and notes to the financial statements, and that explains our opinion. We issued an unqualified opinion on these financial statements, and then our audit concluded the financial statements were free from material misstatement. I'll now read our audit opinion. We have audited the financial statements of Kettle Creek Conservation Authority, which comprise the statement of financial position as of December 31st, 2022, the statement of operations and accumulated surplus, statement of changes in net financial assets, the statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and the notes to the financial statements include a summary of significant accounting policies. So in our opinion, the organization's financial statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the organization as of December 31st, 2022, and the results of its operations and its cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with Canadian public sector accounting standards. So the further sections of the report are the responsibilities of management and those charged with governance for the financial statements. This outlines the responsibilities of management and those charged with governance, which is to say that the financial statements, notes, and controls to appropriately reflect the transactions are management's responsibility. So the next section at the bottom there, it's titled Auditor's Responsibility for the audit of the financial statements. This moves on to the next page. Outlines what the auditors are responsible for. The section outlines a little bit what an audit is. We're looking to obtain a reasonable assurance that the statements are free from material misstatements. So we just click over the next page. The final section is our signature and date of this report, which is today, February 22nd, 2023, which one of these statements will be approved. The next pages that are attached here are the statement of financial position, and it shows the authority's assets and liabilities as of December 31st, 2022, with comparative figures for December 31st, 2021, broken into financial assets, financial liabilities, and non-financial assets such as tangible capital assets, as you can touch, with the total of these assets in excess of liabilities for the accumulated surplus as of December 31st, 2022 of $4.14 million. Signed off by grant. I think the last page that's presented here is a statement of operations for the full year ended December 31st, 2022, with a comparative budget and the December 31st, 2021 figures, which outlines the authority's revenue by type and expenditures by segment, showing the net financial statement surplus for the year of $236,000. So again, it should be noted that these pages presented are excerpts from the full set of financial statements, which is available or will be available on the authority's website. So thank you. That's what I have. Okay.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, we do have a motion that the year 2022 financial statements be adopted as presented.
Seconder, Herbert and Paul Sands. Any further discussion? Call vote, please, Elizabeth.
Alderman Sands,
Yes.
Herbert,
Yes.
McMillan,
Yes.
Noble,
Yes.
Trousseau,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
and Jones,
Yes.
and that motion passes.
Thank you. I'll ask Elizabeth to present the 2022 annual report. Please.
Chair, it's my pleasure on behalf of the staff to present the board to the board the 2022 annual report. I'd like to draw your attention to some of the initiatives undertaken that showcase our achievements in 2022. A number of our projects this year were driven by implementation of amendments to the Conservation Authorities Act, ensuring that while we are not a high growth CA, we are ensuring transparency and accountability to serve our community better. As such, our website was completely overhauled, giving it a fresh, modern look while improving navigability, ensuring it can be easily viewed on a variety of devices. Since its launch, we've had over 34,000 unique visitors. A governance section was added to the website so users can easily navigate to a number of new and updated policies, including our comprehensive fee policy and annual fee schedules, a revised acquisition and disposition policy, and quarterly reports on our CA Act implementation initiatives. Administratively, we took great strides in 2022 to modernize our accounting software to an online system and embraced paperless applications. In addition to our regular service of issuing riverine and shoreline flooding messages, KCCA updated its 30-year-old Port Stanley Lakeshore flooding lookup tables. This tool allows staff to evaluate the potential for lakeshore flooding, meaning staff can more accurately issue warnings for lake uprush. A new development guide was also created to replace the 2006 Port Stanley Beach Management Plan. This will assist landowners with requirements for floodproofing standards that must be incorporated into the design of new buildings and structures. KCCA is not a barrier to growth. Under our Section 28 regulation, we issued 48 permits and 24 site clearances, all within the provincial timeline requirements. With a funding grant from Fisheries and Oceans Canada, staff were able to classify another 15 municipal drains for fish sampling. This classification work helps to review and approval of drain maintenance activities. Staff continue to be value-added services to our member municipalities. The long-standing agreement with the County of Elgin to undertake the tree commissioner and weed inspector role was renewed. This working relationship has been in place since 1999. In partnership with the City of St. Thomas, we conducted monthly surface water monitoring at Lake Margaret, and 200 potted trees and shrubs were planted along the north shore of Lake Margaret with funding support from TD Friends of the Environment. As Grant mentioned earlier, over 50,000 trees were planted throughout the watershed, including 3,190 seedlings through Greening Communities program and 200 large stock trees planted along Central Elgin roadsides. With support of funding partners, including the Great Kettle Creek Environmental Trust, Invasive Species Center, and the Great Lakes Local Action Fund, KCCA tackled the control of invasive species on private and public land. In total, we tackled approximately 10 acres of woody invasives and 17 acres of Phragmites was removed from the watershed. The benefits of this incredible undertaking is almost immediate. The Carolinian Forest Festival will return to in-person learning for the first time since 2019, teaching over 2,000 grade 6 and 7 students the importance of forest ecosystems, biodiversity, and climate change. And finally, improvements to our campgrounds, including the addition of 3 new docks at Lake Whitaker, thanks to $71,000 in funding from the Government of Ontario's Community Building Fund, administered through the Ontario Building Trillium Foundation. This included an accessible dock featuring an easy launch system, allowing users to launch or use their kayaks with stability regardless of water levels. Chair, this is our annual report for 2022, and on my behalf, I'd like to thank the board, both our new board and our outgoing board, as well as the staff for helping with those initiatives.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
We do, that the year 2022 annual report be adopted as presented.
Have a mover and second, please. Sharon, John. Further discussion? Vote.
Baldwin,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I had you go item. But I just wondered, I see Betsy McClure's here, that I was involved 4 years ago planting trees around Lake Margaret. I just wondered if that is still a success in doing that, how has it worked out? So, not to put Betsy on the spot.
Thanks, through the chair to you, Jim. Yes, those plantings are still existing and we're replanting over the years as there's natural die-off. And this spring and fall, we'll be continuing with planting efforts all along the North Shore of Lake Margaret.
So they're growing quite nicely now?
Well, they're shrubs, so they're smaller, but they're doing well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
so on the motion, Baldwin Sands,
Yes.
Jim Harper,
Yes.
McMillan,
Yes.
Noble,
Yes.
Rousseau,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
and that motion passes.
Now I ask, Betsy McClure to help and present the LPG monitoring report.
So I'm going to highlight some of the progress of the Algonquin Clean Water Program over 2022. As a summary for some of you that are new to the authority or aren't familiar with the program, Algonquin Clean Water Program was established in 2012 by the 4 Algonquin Conservation Authorities, so Long Point, Catfish Creek, Kettle Creek, and Lower Thames Valley. And the program provides technical advice to landowners as well as financial incentives to do environmental projects. Annual funding is provided by the County of Elgin, as well as the Green Lane Community Trust has been a long-time funder of the program. As you can see on the map here, since 2012, 290 projects have been completed across the county, and as you can see, good distribution across all of the municipalities.
Sorry, guys.
So here's a breakdown since the program began of the funds provided to date. So you can see over 790,000 in grants from the Algonquin Clean Water Program have been provided to landowner projects, and total project costs have now exceeded $3.3 million. We also work with other funding partners like Ducks Unlimited, Elgin Stewardship Council, and Alice Elgin to find matching funds for landowners. So both matching grants and the landowner contributions, which can be in-kind time or their own cash contributions, have both exceeded $1 million as well. In 2022, we had 26 projects completed and provided just over $68,000 in grants. As you can see there, the breakdown of the types of projects that were completed this year: 2 erosion control, 1 wellhead protection, 12 wetland creation, 3 tall grass prairie establishment, and 8 cover crop. Wetland creation continues to be the most funded project through our program, with over 115 wetland creation projects completed to date since 2012. Just going to highlight a few of the projects that were completed this past year. The first is a wetland creation project. This was a 2-acre marginal area of a farm where they were looking to create a wetland in a wet area. In addition, after this wetland was created, there was also 1,900 native trees and shrubs planted throughout the rest of the area. The Tallgrass Prairie project, it was a 1.5-acre field, once again too small to do a lot with on the farm. So this landowner was interested in diversifying the habitat types on his property, and so a mix of wildflowers and grasses were planted. This erosion control project saw the installation of 5 water and sediment control basins to slow the movement of surface water across the farm. And 2 of the structures that were built adjacent to the woodlot also incorporated larger sediment control basins to allow for more surface water to be captured while also adding wildlife habitat. The wellhead protection project This well was located inside a pump house structure 4 feet below grade. A licensed well contractor extended the well casing above grade and installed a pitless adapter. And lastly, we continue to get positive feedback about the program from landowners, not only the importance of the funds for landowners to be able to carry out the projects, but also the support of CA staff and the ease of the process. If anyone is interested in learning more about the program or wants to discuss potential projects, you can visit elbouscleanwater.ca or get in touch with your local conservation authority staff.
And we do have a motion that the 2022 Elgin Clean Water Annual Report be adopted as presented.
All neighbors, all hands. Any discussion?
Baldwin Sands,
Yes.
Herbert,
Yes.
McMillan, Noble,
Yes.
Rousseau,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
and that motion passes.
Okay, moving on, we have now before us have the 2023 levy and budget, and looking forward to 2023, we have before us the budget for consideration. The budget and the levy have been reviewed and discussed by the board in detail at previous meetings. It is presented this morning for final consideration of the members. Is there any final comments from board members? Questions? on the budget?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. How do you decide what the share is for each municipality?
It's based on the modified value assessment. So you'll see that in your levy sheet. It's based on the population of your municipality within the watershed. I do have a preamble before the vote, Chair. To provide conformity with legislation and regulations governing the approval of conservation authority levies, the proposed year 2023 levy and apportionment for KCCA was circulated by registered mail to member municipalities on January 18th, 2023, in order to provide a minimum 30-day notice to budget and levy approval today on February 22nd, 2023. There's a 5% average levy increase over 2022 levels, or $52,357. A recorded vote will be taken with each member responding either for or against the motion. The motion carries or is lost according to the total of weighted votes assigned to each board member. This weighted vote is based upon the modified current value assessment apportioned to that portion of each municipality within the jurisdiction of the watershed. The 2023 levy and budget approved by the board will be circulated by mail, in this case email, to participating municipalities on February 23rd, 2023. Who, if not satisfied, may appeal to the Mining and Lands Commissioner by March 31st, 2023. Thereafter, no appeals are allowed, and the year 2023 budget and levy will be final. So the motion we have before you today is that the 2023 budget of the Kettle Creek Conservation Authority be approved as presented. The member municipalities be assessed for payment. The total general levy of $1,099,500, and each member municipality share of the 2023 general levy be calculated using modified current value assessment.
Hey, need a mover and second. I'm wondering if Noble or Giselle would like to get their names on. I know it's hard when you're on Zoom. Noble moves, Sam, or
I see Todd moved. Sam, will you second?
Yes, I will.
thank you. Further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Sam Trousseau,
Yes.
Roy Baldwin Sands,
Yes.
Jim Herbert,
Yes.
Todd Noble.
Yes.
Sharon McMillan,
Yes.
Frank Burrs, sorry, he's absent. John Wilson,
Yes.
Grant Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, that passes with 64.74% of the weighted vote and 100% of the weighted vote present.
Thank you. Move on to launch of our online screening, and Joe Gordon, our manager of planning and development, and Jessica Kirchner of our GIS and Information Services Coordinator.
Chair, if I can interrupt just for a minute. I know Todd has another meeting that he has to get to. Todd, if you do have to exit, you can exit at this point. You're welcome to stay, but.
Okay, thank you so much, Elizabeth, and the rest of the folks. I will take this as my exit, as I do have another meeting. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. With the launch of KCCA's new online screening mapping tool, this will complete a list of objectives that Kettle Creek Conservation Authority has supported to assist with the province of Ontario's commitments to achieving streamlined approvals for development applications. KCCA continues to improve on its client service and accountability by ensuring all permit applications are processed well within the 21-day timeline requirements and is annually reporting those statistics to Conservation Ontario. Since 2015, KCCA has offered a permit application information package, which includes a checklist that provides transparency of process and rules and identifies potential complete application requirements based on an associated hazard. All of KCCA's board-approved policies, procedures, and technical studies that inform decision-making within the authority's plan input review and regulation programs are posted on KCCA's website and available to the public. This includes KCCA's comprehensive fee policy approved in 2022 and annually updated fee schedules. Now, with the launch of a new online screening mapping, landowners will be able to map their property to determine whether it's affected by regulations under the Conservation Authorities Act, including whether the property is located in a floodplain or erosion hazard area. If the property is affected by the regulation, then they're encouraged to consult with staff to assist in any application requirements if they're planning to undertake any development. So now we're just going to show a quick presentation. As of today, the online mapping is live on Kettle Creek's website at kettlecreekconservation.on.ca. It can be accessed through the permit and planning drop-down menu, or for convenience, we have a quick access link on the main landing page that can map your property. On the starting page, it talks a little bit about the regulation, the need for permits, and provides a little step-by-step tutorial on how you can search your property to determine if it's regulated. So we can start by selecting Map Your Property, which will launch the main map frame that shows the full extent of the Conservation Authority area, the watershed. The pink reddish area that you're looking at there is the regulated area. So it's referred to as the regulation limit. And you can see directly from the map all of the areas that are affected by the regulation. You can input an address from the text box located in the upper right and select from a list of results. This zooms into the property search, which, what coincidence, is the KCCA Administration Office where we're all here today. Very quickly, you can see by the red hashed areas that there are portions of the property that are affected by the regulation. You can also just click on the property and the pop-up window will identify the address of the property, the municipality, and whether the property is affected by the regulation. If it is, they're encouraged again to contact staff for more information about what that regulation means and assist them with developing their applications. Similar to other mapping programs, there's different functionality that can be done. Users can turn on and off other information layers or additional hazard layers. So in this case, we can open the regulation layers, we can turn on the flood hazard riverine, which would show the limits of the floodplain or the areas that are subject to flood hazards. They also have some functionality to change the transparency or change the darkness of it so it can show up a little clearer. There are typical tools that you see on mapping softwares along the edge where people can take measurements, they can share their screen or do other functionality of typical online mapping. You can also change the base mapping. We provide a series of different aerial photographies that are available so you can see the different generations or successions of your property throughout the different years, as well as street view. Interesting enough, if we look at the entry world imagery mapping, Jessica, it'll show the recent wetlands that were created in the field. And then finally, the landowners can use the print function where you can generate a PDF that can be printed or downloaded and used for whatever purposes that you're exploring the mapping for today. So we're very excited to launch the mapping today, and it'll be live on our website following the AGM. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have some special recognition today. At every AGM, we take time to honor those employees who have reached a significant service milestone. Today, we have one staff member recognized. Marion Levitt-Dennis. Marion has reached a milestone of 5 years of service with the authority. She is our public relations supervisor. Marianne is often behind the scenes, as she is today, their meeting recording and live streaming. She ensures that the authority has a positive image to the public and managing our social media channels and designs all of our KCCA communication materials from signage to our annual report. Congratulations on 5 years. I'd like to recognize our exiting board members. Should recognize MP Karen Beck here short then. I don't know if Karen has any words to say.
No, you're lucky I'm this quiet today. I'm here to take it in. I'm enjoy it while we can.
There, obviously, we have 8 outgoing board members, and the Conservation Authority usually recognizes board members with a tree, we plant in watershed in their honor. Each member was able to choose their tree species from a list of native Carolinian species. Interestingly, the majority chose red oak. Red oak is named for its brilliant fall color. Oak trees are also known to grow straight and tall, and in some cases live to 400 years. As a college board member, his name, I asked if it could stand if possible. First member, welcome to Winfield, for 11 years of service representing the city of London. Tom Jagger, 4 years of service representing the township of Mount. 2 years of service representing the city of St. Thomas, and Steve sent his regrets. Stephen Harvey, 6 years of service representing the Senate. Two members chose red maples for their tree of choice. It's also known for its brilliant fall color. Its claim to fame is including is the greatest north-south range of any tree species in North America. Is hardy and resilient. And first person to pick that was Bill Mackey, 11 years of service representing the city of London. And Dennis Kravitz, who sat on the board for 6 years of service representing the sets, which God has said, and finally, from the city of London, Elizabeth Loza, 6 years of blazing her own path and choosing the hackberry tree. The hackberry is served by tree experts as one type tree, but the red maple thrives on a variety of soils from southern Canada to Florida. There's a hardy, energy conservative shade tree that stands up to strong winds and tolerates air pollution. I dare say the trees of choice for our outgoing board members exemplify their service to this board. With their guidance, this board has made hard choices and weathered political storms, but has always stayed rooted in our mission to integrate watershed management. Thank you to all. Another thing I can say about serving on this board is that while you may move on to other pursuits, having once served on this board, you always are part of us and its growth and remain connected to its work. A fine example of this is the late Jack Baker. Jack served as chair of this board from 78 to 79. and as a board member for 20 years. Jack passed away on January 9th of this year, in his 95th year. A tree will also be planted in his honor. And finally, Allison Warwick, our outgoing chair for 2022. She could not be here today, but I'd like to say a few words on Allison, about Allison. Allison has served on this board for since 2019, and finally here in this role as chair. Allison is not only a leader, but a huge community champion, never ceasing to celebrate the accomplishments of KCCA. An advocate for the important role of conservation authorities on the local landscape. True leadership is all about service, and this organization is well served by Allison's warmth, humor, and sense of community. Allison, we are presenting a print photograph by Barry Ashton, local artist. We thought it was fitting for her agricultural roots, and we will ensure that Allison receives a token of appreciation at a later date. Thank you, Allison. Elizabeth, go forward for the presentation.
For those of you who are keen observers of what the authority's been up to in 2022, in my annual report presentation, I left off probably our greatest achievement in 2022, and that was the creation of Deer Ridge Conservation Area. Ted and Dougie Gill donated 46 acres of Carolinian forest and meadow habitat to the authority. Deer Ridge Conservation Area is the first land donation to the authority since 1970s, and KCCA's only conservation area in South Holt Township. Donations like this are integral to Canada's target to protect 25% of the nation's lands and waters by 2025. It couldn't have happened without Ted and Dougie's generosity and the financial assistance from Environment and Climate Change Canada's Canadian Nature Fund. The creation of a new conservation area is a multi-year undertaking. And in this first year, we conducted biological inventories and modified an existing trail network for public access. The 2022 board had a chance to tour the new trail system this past fall. But if you'll indulge me, Mr. Chair, I wanted to provide a little bit of a virtual tour of the highlights today. Pictures don't do this area justice. From the ridge, it's a breathtaking view down the Dog Creek Valley. Our initial surveys have revealed the area is home to 324 unique species, 9 species at risk, and 3 regionally rare species. Bird watchers will be interested to catch the call of the wood thrush, eastern whippoorwill, and eastern wood pewee. The little brown bat, the northern long-eared bat, and the tricolored bat, all endangered species, were found at Deer Ridge during recent inventories. And let's not forget the flora. The green dragon, the striped cream violet, and Virginia bluebirds are all regionally rare and called Deer Ridge home. There are some finishing touches that we need to do to the area before we welcome the public. The official entrance of Glengarriff will be completed later this year in conjunction with road work to be finished with the adjacent subdivision. I wanted to take another opportunity to thank Ted and Dougie Gill. They say that great men, great people,
Women.
plant trees whose shade they will never sit under. I strongly believe that adage to be true. However, if great people plant trees, I'm at a loss for words of what to say about Ted and Dougie Gill. Ted and Dougie Gill grew a forest, walked its paths, marveled at the deer and the fawns that frolicked there, breathed the fresh air, smelled the bluebells, and called the meadows home. They've been good stewards and have given a priceless gift to the community. As a board and staff, it's been a rare opportunity to be part of their story, to be part of this gift to the community. Thank you will never seem sufficient, but are the only words I have. We will have an official opening ceremony later in the year, but it seemed fitting today to provide Ted and Dougie with a small token of appreciation. Ted, would you come forward?
I went down yesterday, the evening, late afternoon, to just clear the drain, because we're gonna get some rain, so pond. That's what, 5 ponds. They'll drain properly. I counted 43 deer on the new Deer Ridge Conservation Authority land. 43. They aren't all together, they're in separate packages. And it's been great. So I'm very, very pleased. Now, you were talking earlier about trees. I don't know whether the map maker can pull up a view of the creek just down below my bar. Because 35 years ago, I went in partnership with Kettle Creek Conservation Authority, who paid for some fence posts and some wire, and I put up a fence along beside a desert creek side. And the creek side looked like the mountains of Afghanistan. I want to talk to you later about Afghanistan.
Okay.
My wife was, that's where I met my wife. But it was just buried. There are now 45-foot trees all along that section. And you can pull them up, they can see them. I don't know whether you can you?
Our digital imagery doesn't go back that far. We have them in.
No, if you just show it today.
Oh,
You
today.
show it today, I know what it looked like 40 years ago. But if you could show it today, the whole creek side is 40 feet high. I planted 4,000 trees all along there, and it's done a wonderful job. So thank you very, very much, and we will continue to work with conservation. Trying to expand it.
Just have a few more comments. Ted came to me several years ago, wanted to know how to donate some land, or who to donate it to. My first reaction was when Elizabeth's way in. And between Conservation Authority and Township Southfield, it took a long time.
Long time.
Who knew it would take so long to donate some land? Thanks for bearing with us. So.
Well, it's a wonderful process, giving back to the community. It's nearly as good as having grandkids.
That comes to the end of the meeting. Don't believe there's any other business to take care of, so we just need to thank everybody for coming, past board members and staff. It's great to see everybody. We need a motion to adjourn. All stands. Wilson?
Yeah.
I'm assuming everyone's in favor of that motion. We're adjourned at 10:50.